Hello, I'd like to talk about the process of registering in nationals for this year. The nationals registration is done in the back end of your club account. So the admin side, the same way that we did national team trials, if you registered athletes in that. To access the registration, you would go competitions, admin competition registrations, and then it takes you to a page that looks like this, which will list any competition registrations that you've already done. When you get to this page, you should see a divisional registration. So this is an Ontario club. In Ontario, you see both Eastern and Western Ontario division registrations. Any other divisions, you should only see one divisional registration. So the way that nationals registration works is that all the clubs add their entries onto the divisional registration, and then the divisional registrar submits that to CKC with the ranking and any random entries that you're requesting. So you notice that the divisional registration is a little bit different than your maybe club registrations that you created. There's no view roster option here. I'll talk about that in a second. But to add your athletes to the divisional registration, you will click the edit button next to that registration. And that will take you to a page that you will probably recognize if you've done competition registrations. From here, the process is exactly the same as it is for any registration. So you would click here to access your list of athletes and check off their names and submit to add them to your competition. You can also use this section to search for an athlete by name and then add them to the competition. You can add your coaches and any staff members, club spokesperson here, look for their name and add new staff. And then you add your athletes to the entries. So you can filter this list by age. So say U18 races. It will show you all of the U18 races. And then you click here on the plus button. Then you will have a list of all your athletes that you've added to the competition. You check off their name and submit to add them to this event. Same for down here, you have your crew boat races. You click plus, and then you will have a list here of all your athletes. You want to use your multi-select button. So either the Apple key on a Mac or control key on a PC. You highlight the names of the people that need to go into the boat and click submit. Or you use this button if you have an empty spot in a boat and click submit. When you add athletes and put them into races, they will have the red inactive tag next to them. And you'll note on this submission, you don't have the access to the update submission button. So you have no way of clearing that tag. You have to trust the system that it is saving your entries on that divisional registration. And then your divisional registrar will go into their account and update the submission, and then it will clear the tag on all of the entries. So we've asked the divisional registrars to do that a couple of times a week or more frequently if necessary. When you're in the divisional registration, you will only be able to see the entries for your club. So this list of participants will only have your club athletes. And when you add people to races, you will only be able to see your entries. Periodically, the divisional registrar can send out an update to the clubs of what entries have been made using the view roster button, which is only available at the divisional level. So you don't actually have to wait until you've run divisional qualifiers and you know for sure who will be going to nationals. You can pre-populate your athletes that you think have a good chance of qualifying. You could start populating that now so that when the qualifiers have been run, all the divisional registrar has to do is go in and rank the entries, mark ones as random entries, and then delete any extraneous items before submitting the final submission to CKC. So again, it's competitions, admin competition registrations, edit next to your divisional registration. And if you're in Ontario, make sure that you're on the right divisional entry. And then the process after that for adding athletes and putting them in races is exactly the same as it is for any other competition. And of course, if you have any problems, feel free to contact CKC. Thanks.